Why the heck do we need product managers anyway? The answer is simple. If you don't have one, companies end up building products that customers don't want to buy. It's very easy to get things off track and they go haywire. On one level, all organizations have products, not just physical products. Let's take a look at these three. First, you may think of for-profit companies. These are companies that make a particular product or group of products or are known for that. And their goal is to produce those products, sell them with a profit, and continue to be successful. If they're publicly traded, then they want to return money to their shareholders. If they are private, they want to make money for their individual investors or their angel investors or however they were set up. So the role of products in a for-profit company are to help generate revenue. It's really that simple. In non-profit companies, the focus is on accomplishing a mission. It's not necessarily to make money, it's to accomplish something that was important. Maybe feed the hungry, educate children, provide a treatment or a service. Those are more what we would consider a non-profit organization. It's not money focused. It needs money to operate, but it's more mission focused. Nonprofits can also have products. This would be in addition to any donations they might get. Instead of constantly relying on donations or fundraisers or the goodness of foundations to give them large sums of money to operate, they might find ways to build and sell products. Could be as simple as opening a thrift store that they operate. The proceeds would go to fund their larger organization and their mission. But that thrift store is not their core business. It's business that generates revenue to help them do other things. The third type of organization is a government organization, and its purpose is to create laws or processes or procedures that help everything else work. So it says what you can do, when you can do it, who you can do it with. It says also what you can't do. So it levels the playing field, or at least it's supposed to, so everybody has a fair chance. Well, what are its products? Its products are the results of its work. Did it create a good environment for people to operate? Did it seem fair? Did it provide security? Did it provide stability? These are all things at which governments are measured on. And when they fail, a couple of different things happen. Either the members of that organization or government get voted out or changed, or there's an election if you're in a democratic society, or occasionally, if it's so bad, what happens is that those governments are overthrown, often violently, and somebody else comes in and takes over and establishes a new way of operating. When you think about products for governments, it's the processes or the results that they create. Did they create a stable environment? Did they help generate employment? Did they do things that really supported their overall purpose? If not, politicians, members of the government are voted out and are changed, or in some cases, they are overthrown by the people in which they were ruling, and they get rid of them and they try something different. So what happens if we don't have a product manager? What happens if there's no product boss? Here's an example, a true story of a motorcycle company you might be familiar with, Harley Davidson. If you know their story, they have a two-cylinder engine that really has this famous rumble, and it's very iconic. And the people that buy Harley Davidsons are of a certain character and a certain breed, at least the image that most people have in their heads. So here's a product they came up with, Harley Davidson wine coolers. Think about that for a moment. Does that set with the right type of person that's trying to ride a motorcycle, especially an older person? Maybe you can imagine they've got longer hair, they've got a beard, maybe they've got a leather jacket with some strings coming down. These are all images of kind of a tough person or a group of really hard characters. Does a wine cooler fit with them? Obviously it doesn't. This product was a huge fail. If they wanted to do a liquor, it should have been a harder liquor like whiskey or gin or rum or something that fit better with the brand. Here's a second example. You may have heard of the toothpaste called Colgate. It's been around a long time. It's mostly known as a whitening toothpaste. Well, here's Colgate Lasagna. Does that sound like it goes together? Brushing your teeth and eating dinner at the same time, having this lasagna. Obviously it doesn't. It's almost makes your stomach turn. It's the complete opposite of what you might think in terms of a product. What we're getting at is products can't fit with every organization. You can't just decide to offer something generic or something different because you like it and you think you'll make money on it. In your consumers' minds, there are limits on what they expect. What is your brand? How does it fit? These are all things that the product manager has to help the organization understand and figure out through research and conversations internally, and really being the person that keeps everybody on track. So how do products get off track? Basically, it starts with a mindset of mass production. Because we can build a whole bunch of something, let's do that, save the economies of scale and produce it as cheaply as possible, then go out and look for a market, somebody to buy it. That's usually when there's a product fail. So what we're trying to do is flip it and instead have target marketing. We want to go out and figure out, what do people want to buy? What do they need? Can we test these products? Can we get ideas before we build thousands of them? Can we build a prototype or a set of prototypes or a limited run and try that, and then go build the product if it sells? So it's flipping the order around. Now, there's something else going on. What about mass customization? That's even better, where you find out what do people want and you're offering it up almost in a unique way. And with the technology today, with computers and interactions and so forth, think of something as simple as your telephone. You can customize that, the apps that you have on there, the settings, the colors. All of this takes a product but allows it to be changed in such a way that the person who's using it feels like it's theirs and it's customized to them. That's probably the biggest win you can get in terms of products. So as a product manager, you're going to have constant challenges. I like to put them in 3 buckets. There's your current state, which is where you are, what's going on. Hey, we want to build a product, we want to be more successful as an organization, all of this. Then at the very end, there's a desired state. Hey, we'd like to have a finished product. We'd like to be number 1 in the market, whatever the goals are. And in the middle is this thing I call the ambiguous zone, or the amorphous mess. And so it's very difficult to figure out what to do. Imagine a big cloud, a lot of dust. It's very hard to see through there. And that's where most organizations live. They can't figure out which way to go. So you send an idea in and it gets crazily off track. So what does the product manager do? The product manager's got to be good about figuring out, where are we, where do we want to go, and how do we get the straightest line to that point without getting too bogged down in this middle area. Here's another way I like to think of that same model. I call it present, future, process. So the present, again, is where are we? And we can be really clear, really defined. This is what our situation is. What's the future, where we want to go? Basically, the more clear and specific we've set those goals, the easier it will be to know whether or not we got there. And then what's the magic sauce? It's the process. What are all the steps that are going to get us from A to B? Give you an example of this. At my house, I'm the garbage man. What does that mean? Every morning I come down to make my coffee, and I come in the corner of the kitchen and I pull out the garbage can and I take out the garbage, and I take it out to the side of the house. I put it in a garbage can, and once a week I set them at the street, and the garbage trucks come and magically my garbage disappears from my house. What I've noticed is that if I'm out of town for a couple days, I come back into the kitchen and there's bags of stuff and boxes and everything piled up in the corner. Nobody else in my house is the garbage person. I'm the garbage person. So that's my process. I go and I take the garbage out every day. If something isn't working and you're not reaching your goals, or you're not developing the products that you want, or they're not performing like you want, chances are you need to change your process. It needs to get more specific. Give you one other quick example. Think of French fries, whether that's Burger King or McDonald's or wherever. Why do those French fries taste the same everywhere you go? Because they figured out a recipe. A friend of mine worked at Wendy's, and he shared the operations manual one day with me, and he was telling me about it. He said, hey, here's how hot the grease is when we cook the fries. Here's how long we cook them. When we put salt on them, we shake our hand front to back a certain number of times. They were very specific. Everybody had to learn to do it exactly the same way. That's why they taste the same. So very successful organizations like these fast food restaurants have developed processes that they can take somebody with varying skills, whether they're great skills or medium skills, well, it doesn't matter. If they follow the process, they get the quality they want at the end, or the result. And so that's what we're talking about here. A good product manager figures out, where are we? Where do we want to go? And they get that crystal clear, and then they really focus on honing the process that gets that product developed, produced, engineering, everybody else involved in that, to the point that it's ready for a launch and it's ready to be a success.